So the remaining little niggle I had with the TE250 that I was repairing was a starter issue. Let me just play you a video what it sounds like. Then I'll go through how the starter's designed and the components, what I found, and ultimately the end result. Not quite. So thinking about the problem, the possible causes could be a weak battery. It was completely flat when I got it, but I've charged it for a couple of weeks, so I tried different batteries that isolated that one. Could be a worn out starter motor, brushes or magnets getting weak. It could be a voltage drop on the wiring connections. This bike did have quite a bit of corrosion related wiring issues, so it could have been poor crimp connectors getting high resistance or worn out starter gears. So here's a schematic diagram of the starter system. You can see the starter motor there in the center that drives through a 90-degree bevel gearbox. And then the components labeled 32 is a worm and spur gear that drive the starter clutch. I found through my research that there was a recall on these, that the first year they made them, the hard facing would wear off, and the newer components had a diamond-like coating which was a lot harder. So I ordered those parts. And then when they arrived, I decided to disassemble it and have a look at the gears. So I removed the original spur gear and worm gear and had a look at it. You could see the hard facing had worn off and it was quite rough. I then got out a 40 times magnification loupe in front of the iPhone camera and had a closer look at the gears. You can see there's quite a bit of galling on the spur gear. And this is the worm gear. You can see it's a pitting and dragging, and particularly bad on the spur gear here. You can see the metals are worn over. So at this point I could probably eliminate weak battery because I tried different batteries. The worn starter motor, unsure of that, we'll see once we get it back together. As far as voltage drop on the wiring connections, I put a multimeter on the battery while it was starting, and the battery's dropping down to 9 or 10 volts. So it was dropping the current all the way to the battery, not staying 12 volts at the battery and losing power down to the starter motor. The worn starter gears, I replaced them with the new ones. So now it's really a case of testing the engine. If it's still bad, well then it's the starter motor. Only doing a test will tell. Okay, so this is the sound of the starter with the new worm and ring gear in. A lot better. Usually the second time it would really struggle to start and turn over. Not anymore. Problem fixed.